Let's try this again. We're gonna try the Subterranean again. There we go. And here has some of the World War II stuff. You can see some of the SS stuff over here. Well, this should be pretty awesome. Going into that.
And now we're going to visit the underground aqueduct. So this was the water supply system of the Greek-Roman city. After 45-50 minutes, when we turn outside, we'll visit the ruins of the Roman theater.
90 feet below the city we go.
Yeah.
90 feet is a long way down here. I asked the guide, I said, where's the wheelchair ramp?
The ancient aqueduct. So this was the old Greek-Roman water supply of the ancient city of Naples. The town was built by the Greeks 2,400 years ago. So in 400 BC, the city of Naples was founded. The name was Neapolis, which means new city. And the town was built with tufa stone. This is the volcanic rock, which is very common in this region. You know that Naples is in between two volcanic areas. One is Vesuvius, that everybody knows about. The other one is called Campi Flegrei. 25,000 years ago, there was a big eruption that originated debris and volcanic ash and sediments. It dried out and became tufa stone. This was the building material for the construction of the town. So slaves from different parts of the Mediterranean were working on here all together to extract the building material. So they made blocks to construct the city above our heads. And as the caves were artificially created, they systematically decided to transform them into reservoirs. So this became an aqueduct to store drinking water. But where's the water from? We don't have rivers in the city. So the Greeks had to go 60 kilometers inland in the middle of the region. And they diverted a river, River Serino. This river was artificially channeled through the underground canals to get the water in here. It was drinking water. So from the open wells, people dropped the buckets and amphoras to get the water to the houses. 200 years later, the Romans came and expanded the aqueduct. So in total, we had 170 kilometers canal system with 12,000 underground caves. And the aqueduct worked for 2,000 years. Outbreak that hit the city. What happened? Tufa, this rock, is very porous, very permeable, so the bacteria percolated through the stones, infecting the water. For this particular reason, the aqueduct was closed and abandoned for 60 years. And in 1940, as World War II began and Italy was involved, Naples was bombed, so the underground caves were transformed into air raid shelters. These became bunkers used by the people to take cover from the bombs. So the water was removed, was drained, and replaced by this paving. This is the floor of the 1940s. Also, the staircase that we took at the beginning was built in 1940, specifically for the people to go underground and take cover. 2,000 people was the maximum capacity in this 1 kilometer trek that we visit today. And now, we're going to see. Just a little bit of rain outside. Correct, that's well said. So sorry. First of all, it was a mine shaft to transport the building material. Then it was a water hole. People dropped the buckets to get the water. During World War II, the open wells were used as ventilation shafts to get the air in the bunker. We said 2,000 people were down here for 3-4 days. Now, you see bombs. These bombs are not real. This is just a prop. It's a dramatization. Remember, Naples was bombed. In 1940, Italy entered World War II, so it was first British-American troops who bombed Italy. Because notoriously Churchill and Roosevelt were fighting Nazi-fascism in Europe. But after 1943, so after the end of Mussolini's regime, it was the German troops, the Wehrmacht, who occupied and also bombed parts of the country. I will tell you about World War II later on. in Naples, but now we will focus again on the Roman age. This is a 2,000 years old Roman waterproof plaster. It was made 2,000 years ago by the Romans to impermeabilize its stone. It's not obviously, it's a stone. It's very poor, it's very poor.
So the red line was the high point of where the water was. Interesting.
And here you see toy cars and beds, common objects that belonged to some of the families and children who came down here to take cover from the bombs during World War II. 2,000 people were down here, some of the objects were simply left behind, were forgotten. Most of Europe, many European countries and cities were involved and bombed during World War II. And the reconstruction was not quick. The reconstruction in most of Europe was very slow because of the damages that were very vast, very spread all around the country. Especially in Naples, the reconstruction was very slow. Imagine 5 years after the end of World War II, people were still homeless. Some people were still without a home, waiting for the reconstruction. From one cistern to another, in order to increase the speed and the pressure of the water, the tunnels were usually very narrow, very small. So the smaller the tunnel, the faster the water moved. Now, mind your step, mind your head. You can see the chisel marks left by the slaves as they were digging the rocks out. These are original chisel marks from 2,400 years ago. So everything was systematically man-made. Everything was artificially excavated to create the cave and construct the buildings all at once. But now the thing is, when the aqueduct was in function, tufa, this rock, is very dirty, very dusty. A lot of debris had fallen into the water. So someone, a cleaner, had to come down here and clean the water. But what happened?
He just said that the cleaner would basically walk around with a pool skimmer.
Enter the private houses at night because the well was near or in the house. So you could easily enter the houses and he stole money or jewels. And occasionally, the cleaner became the lover. That's a very Italian legend. Oh. I'm the cleaner. So he entered the houses and entertained the ladies and left money and jewels that he took away from other homes as a gift. Now we call it economic redistribution, but 2,000 years ago, it's a theft. So the man came back and asked the wife how or where the money came from. And the lady told him that there was a ghost living in the aqueduct. People believed in ghosts later. So she said there was a poltergeist haunting the cave, and sometimes the ghost, to play tricks, would enter the house to misplace objects or take them away. People believed that this was true. Why? Because the cleaner, who really existed, had a hoodie, like a hood, to protect himself from humidity. And he usually worked at night, so people never saw his face, because he also had a lantern to light the way. So people assumed that the cleaner was actually the ghost of the legend. No, I wasn't up to the city because I covered many. To understand how the caves were cut, how the blocks were extracted. So slaves would work all together down here, and they used chisel, a wedge, big hammers to shape the rocks, to cut the stones. So they made big blocks for the walls and the temples of the ancient city. So they put the blocks on a platform, lifted it vertically through the well. So at the end, we had a building, a cave, and a well. So they decided to transform the caves into reservoirs to store the drinking water. That's when the canals, the channels were dug out to divert, as we said, the river from the very source into the canal system of the aqueduct.
He said this is some of the items they found from the 40s when they were cleaning up.
Real stuff, real objects from the 1940s. This is stuff, just different objects altogether. Yeah.
Look at all these latrines. There's some over there as well.
Toilets, to be the first anti-Nazi city in our country. Of course, for the record, I must say that the Allied troops were already in this region, but They were 50 kilometers south of me, in the area side. So the big thing was that the Napoleons fought on their own against the Nazis, and the Nazis abandoned the town. They were defeated by the sea, not very much. September 27, September 30, 1943. 4 days before it was marched, Allied troops entered the town. And that, at least for the south of Italy, was the end of World War II, 2 years before the real end of World War II in Europe. This equipment to remember the end of the revolution. The Panzer, this tank, is a sculpture to transform some of the underground caves into botanic areas. Why? Because of the microclimate that we have here. Temperature and humidity don't change much. We always have 12, 16 degrees Celsius, humidity 95, 100%. And these plants grow without being watered. They simply absorb all the water needed from humidity, the moisture. Not all the plants grow in the same way. You have plants that grow for 11, 12 months, some plants that can't live longer than 5, 6 months in these conditions. So they verify natural selection, geographical origin of the species, and the reaction. Each plant has a different way to grow.
They're showing how the waterways, how they used to pull water up through those vases.
Captain Jack Sparrow. Pump, which is simulating how the aqueduct worked. You see 3 wells. 2 wells were used actually to take the water. The other well was used by the cleaner, you see, to enter, walk in here and clean the water. So we are walking on the original ledge where the cleaner walked and worked. We continue this direction.
See a couple of vases still down in there. And there's one of the wells, and you can see the footholds for the guys that would have to come down here. They said people had to come down and clean the walls because you would get bacteria and stuff that would get into the water, so they would pay somebody to come down here and climb up the well and have to clean up and down the well and then clean the walls as well, and they would walk along those ledges. He's saying occasionally they have productions of Dante's Inferno down here, and that's what that fire is right there, and that. Saying the University of Naples is conducting botany experiments down here, and they're growing things and kind of following them. Yeah, that's all basil. That's gonna be a lot of margarita pizzas.
De Poolse Bruid film gezien. De Poolse Bruid. Het is een Nederlandse film met een Poolse vrouw die in Nederland gaat. For the nuns. They came from that staircase, 7 floors, between here and the church. We are in the deepest point. No, this is the warmest spot.
He said there's a convent right above us.
Which is getting warm air from outside. And on the left, you see another canal, another tunnel, that was used by the nuns to take water. The legend says the nuns were using that tunnel to meet monks at night.
Now we're going back up to see the ruins of the Roman theater. So of course the history is that Mussolini was the dictator during the beginning of World War II, and then when he was voted out or ousted, the Italians were anti-Nazi, and then the Germans came and attacked them. So That's why they have all this stuff here. He was saying that Naples was one of the most bombed cities. Oh, that's the old Italian flag.
Different flag. That was the flag when the king was still in power. Then after 1946, the king and his royal family were exiled. The new constitution of the republic was written, and the flag had changed. So they removed the coat of arms.
So now the tour actually continues outside, and this is where he takes us over to the Roman theater ruins. It's kind of crazy that this tour actually goes on like a walking part. We're a couple of blocks away from where we started.
Where was I? I got triggered.
2,000 years ago.
Thank you. 2,000 years ago, the Roman theater was built here. But the Roman theater was covered, was absorbed by these buildings 500 years ago. Why? Because in Europe, for 600 years, we couldn't expand the scenes. We could only go in vertical. For this particular reason, the theater was absorbed by 42 apartments. In 1997, the archaeologists found maps and documents of the theater, and they started looking around. So when they stopped in his apartment, they found some fragments of the Roman theater.
Look what this guy's doing.
For example, in the Americas,
he's building like little houses, little doll houses.
Interesting, eh?
The Roman theater ruins are in here. He said 42 families had to be relocated when they found out that their apartment was built on top of the theater. That's what that guy was building over there.
They started looking around when they stopped here in this apartment, a 2,000 years old Roman period. Unbelievable. The family was paid and relocated. They moved somewhere else, like Panama, Dubai. The archaeologists continued the excavation and they found other fragments.
Oh wow. He said down in the wine cellar they found the actors' dressing rooms.
Used by the family. They knew about it, but they didn't know about the Roman walls. And now we go 4 meters below the house.
So I think it's to tell these are Roman bricks. Wow. The actors' dressing rooms.
You don't find these in the States, I tell you.
Nope. Wow.
Well, this changes the concept of a home theater. You know,
yeah, wow.
How about that, huh? Yeah. You mean I have a home theater? Nice, huh? This area of the theater was the backstage. But wait a minute, the wine cellar was not that big. It was from here to here. It was all closed. So the family used the wine cellar, but didn't know about the Roman walls. Here you see 2 Roman wall techniques. One is made of tufa, it's the same rock we saw before. The other one is made of pottery, terracotta. One is diagonal, the other one is horizontal.
What was the first material?
Tufa, the same rock we saw before.
Oh, yeah.
And the other one is terracotta. One is diagonal, the other one is horizontal. According to the archaeologists, they have 2 theories. One theory, this is earthquake resistant. Another theory, this is for decoration. This was the backstage. The stage was never found because it was destroyed 500 years ago. But I show you the entrance corridor to the stage. This is where the actors changed. So no lions, no gladiators, but singers, performers, and musicians. Unbelievable, eh? They find Roman theaters inside the houses. here, please visualize. This area of the theater was found inside a parking garage for mopeds. You park the scooters here, you know. So nobody knew. It was all covered. The garage was up to here. Then nothing. Then the archaeologists removed the wall, see what they found. This was the entrance to the stage. The stage was 20 meters ahead. That's direction. The auditorium, the public, that's direction. Half circle. So as we said,
so this has been the front of the stage.
But it was for actors and performers and musicians.
The stage would have been right here, and the crowd would have been beyond there. So these are the steps to enter.
The archaeologists cannot. They have to destroy all the buildings. But how can you do that? You must destroy the whole neighborhood, and so you simply cannot. Now we go to see the last fragment of the theater. Now we complete the tour.
He said that it would seat 3,000. So I guess this is the last section. Here's more of these little models that guy was building in that garage when we were over there. The whole place is filled with them. Look, all the way around the room, he's got different ones.
So this area of the theater was found in 2002, accidentally. Why? This was a carpenter's workshop. The carpenter was renovating the wall of his shop, and a part of the plaster fell, and he found a Roman wall. Amazing. The archaeologists came, they were probably hiding behind the corner and didn't happen. Then they came, and they prayed to the guy who left, and now they found this dowel, you know, this big arch was covered with plaster as well. And as we said, we cannot continue excavation because you may jeopardize the structure, so you don't touch it. Those windows belong to the houses where families live now. Look, real houses where real families live. And here we are inside the exit corridor. This was the exit corridor for the spectators to leave the auditorium, which was above it. So the seats above our heads, the stage in that direction.
Oh.
And here you see the nativity scenes, the famous cribs representing Christmas decoration here in Naples. These are traditional scenes 300 years ago. You see that baby Jesus, Joseph and Mary are depicted near Roman columns. What is the meaning? The end of the pagan age, the pagan religion ended, the beginning of Christianity. So they combined the two elements. Also to tell us that temples became churches. That's the metaphor. And another traditional art of the city is pizza cuisine. You have a pizza oven, and we call Sophia Flora, very famous Italian actress.
And with that, we are done with the underground.